Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the first weekly general of the year 2020. Here we are, right? As I'm filming this, I think it's 2 days before the full moon lunar eclipse that will take place in January in the sign of Cancer. It is literally the day for the week that I'll be speaking about in this reading in the weekly general is literally the day, or one of the days, of the grand conjunction between Pluto and Saturn in the sign of Capricorn. The 2020 quarter calendar that I put out currently has 30% off. It's got a big write-up about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's taking place. And if you know what house that's happening for, there's a breakdown for each and every sign, or rather should I say for each and every house, and what it will mean for you and what you may very well come up with. There is a full moon eclipse write-up. There is a new moon write-up, and that's for January, February and March for all of the quarters, so all of the months of the first quarter of the year. There'll be one released consecutively throughout the year, so there'll be 4 in total. And the way that this is going to work is, so currently there's 30% off that calendar. You can get it for $34.99 compared to the $49.99 that it was originally. And for everybody that buys the calendar of the quarter, they'll get a further discount for the next one that comes out. So it's kind of accumulative. With that said, thank you so much for being here. I would like to send all of you so much love, so much light. It's me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. With that said, I would like to bless both of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. And they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store. So remember, this is the weekly general. This is the general energy that is out there for pretty much everybody, that's kind of permeating everything. All right, so kind of take this as like an overall peg, so to speak, and then your personal sign, so whether your sun, moon or rising, is going to kind of hang off of that to give you a more complete picture. Actions and interactions with the world at large. We've got the 3 of Cups, right? And with everything that's going on in the world at this current moment in time, isn't it very much fitting that the card of, doing something that's already been done comes up? There is that energy about the 3 of Cups, but also this reminds us to be happy. It reminds us that whatever is going on outside of you, make sure that your path forward, that the way that you the way that you step forward on your journey and on your path, the actions that you put out there are ones of happiness, joy, love, peace, prosperity, love, light, all of those things. Not because that's always the experience that we're going to get, but it's because you can choose to always put more of those things out into the world. The 3 of Cups is basically saying to you, even with the intensity this week, find ways to laugh. If you saw my 2020 video, you know I talked about this. If you were at the solstice activation session, I talked very heavily about this and the energy that we would be facing this year. Laughter, fun, enjoyment, finding those things in the everyday is going to be very important, especially this week when you feel like it's getting intense. And very often when times get challenging, when things get difficult, people stop breathing. 2 things that I can give you this week in terms of advice. Keep breathing. When you feel yourself getting stressed or intense or anything like that, take a nice deep breath. That is really going to be paramount for you this week. And because it is the 3 of Cups, find ways to enjoy yourself. Find ways to laugh. When it gets intense, I mean, I'm one of those people, I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely one of those people, like sometimes I will laugh at the most inappropriate place, time or thing. And it's usually not because I find it funny, it's because some part of me knows that to break that tension, somebody needs to do something. So I will be the person that kind of giggles. It's usually kind of like a nervous giggle that kind of bubbles its way out of me. Even if it is that, or even if it's conscious, find a way to tap into that energy this week. The energy of communication is the death card, right? How fitting is that right underneath especially with, what's taking place here on the 13th, that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. The fact that this is in your communications and conversations, or rather in the wider world stage, something comes to an end this week, right? Something will definitely be closing out. When we think about the wider world stage, it could be some kind of, some kind of bigger event, or some kind of talks or whatever. You might be very, very surprised as well with some of the conversations that do come up, some of the things that you see on the wider world stage. There is definitely that air of sort of deja vu with previous things that have happened. But if I'm honest, I kind of feel like a lot of this will be quelled. And the fact that we've got the death card in the communications, I think a lot of this is going to be big words, grand, sweeping, bold statements, but there's not going to be a great deal of backup for it. And the reason being is because, to be honest with you, even with the current climate and all the rest of it, I feel like the will of the people is definitely going to be ringing loud and clear. This week, though, in all ways, shapes and forms, expect your conversations to have an air of finality about them, right? There is a very finite sense in the air. There's a very big feeling of things coming to completion, things coming to culmination. And ultimately, this week, you just have to let it. This is not a week for you to flog a dead horse. If it's already dead, if it's already dying, don't beg anyone for their friendship. Don't beg anyone to stay in your life. Don't ask for anything. Let the chips fall where they may and deal with it when it's all said and done, right? This is one of those weeks, whatever you've been waiting for, especially if you've been going through a lot of challenging stuff. I kind of feel like, when they say ain't over till the fat lady sings, I kind of feel like this is that week. So keep that in mind. In terms of money and materials, we've got the Ace of Cups. So in the midst of all of this, right, in the midst of everything, all the crazy stuff that's going on, we've got the Ace of Cups. For those of you that have maybe experienced challenging financial situations, this is where you see a lightening of that energy. The fact that you've got the Three of Cups here as well suggests that it could kind of come out of the blue. For a lot of people, you could find that either your finances take an upswing, you could find that maybe a position opens up for you, so that you can move into more abundance. It may be that your personal business, if you have one, takes an upswing. It just suggests that in your money and materials, so your money, your health, and even your home, across the wider world stage, everybody is a lot more, not necessarily optimistic. I think it's more a case of people are being more proactive with creating what it is that they want. And the energy for this as well, interestingly enough, I mean, I know everybody else is kind of like, the economy is fucked, look at the astrology. I don't feel that this week. I actually feel like this is a good week. I'm not saying to go out and start, betting the bank and all the rest of it. But I am definitely saying that I think financially across the board, this is going to be a good week for everybody. I do think that everybody's kind of feeling a bit more proactively optimistic about what they can achieve. And in the face of everything else that's happening, that is a really good energy to have. It's a really beneficial energy to hold on to, because it's going to allow you to build solidly on what is taking place. Love and relationships for everybody, we've got the Page of Pentacles. Now this is an interesting one for me because it falls right opposite that Ace of Cups. And the feeling that I get from this, where we see on the wider world stage, there may have been issues. I know in the US there was the whole issue of parents being separated from their children because of the immigration stuff and all the rest of it. I feel like we're actually going to see some good news about this finally. It may come after a distressing event, I have to be honest, because you've got the Death card there. So the way that I kind of maybe see this taking place is some event kind of forces that whole thing to either be lifted or to be dealt with swiftly in a manner that is beneficial for all of those people. I do see grand reconnections this week, but I also, right, because the death card is here as well, so we can't just see the reunion side of it and block out the other side of it. On the other side, there are some completions when it comes to relationships, when it comes to familial stuff. There are a lot of endings coming through here. Some of them may be very, not shocking, but some of them may be very finite. And the fact that we've got the Page of Pentacles, especially when it comes to love and relationships, this is kind of saying, what are you, this week you'll be making that decision. What are the relationships I'm truly ready to work on, and what are the ones that I'm truly ready to let go of, dissolve, or allow to be dissolved? So really, really interesting stuff. I kind of feel like there's something going on with young people here. Almost like whether it's, you know, across the board and across the countries, maybe people start to invest more in the youth, maybe in your local community, you might see that or hear of it. It's definitely a possibility with these cards. So really, really interesting stuff. And then finally, the key to the week, the overall or energy or message, let's say, is the Moon card, right? So there's definitely echoes of the past this week. You will be seeing this and feeling this across the board, right? Whatever sector of your life you're looking at, whatever, you know, whether it's the news, whether it's the media, whether it's online, whether it's, you know, all the rest of it. My biggest advice to you is, one, don't get caught up in the hype. Two, if it's not a beneficial energy for you to tie yourself to, really allow it to come full cycle. That's the other thing with the Moon card. Don't allow yourself to be tricked and warped by fear. And the other part of this is, whatever it is that has served its purpose and is now ready to be completed, released, or let go of, let it go in love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. It's just like saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to allow freedom for myself from whatever my fears have been previously, for whatever it is that's held me back, held me down, or maybe put me in a challenging position. I choose to remove that from my life now. It's interesting because this morning I personally have been looking at what some of my blockages are, and really kind of went to town on them. I got my little internal sledgehammer out and was like, right, you, let's have it. All right, so whatever that means to you, I hope it helps you in some way, shape, or form. This is the worldly energy, so to speak. And one of the things that I've not done a lot of previously is spoken on world events. Now, you guys know me, I don't get involved in politics or any of that stuff because I believe that it is divisive by its very nature. It doesn't help anybody. But where world events start to show up, especially in readings, I'm going to start kind of talking more about that. And just, you know, generally, not necessarily drilling down on it because you guys know me, it's not my thing, but definitely talking more about what's taking place in different sectors of the world and how that energy is kind of being felt throughout the cards and beyond. As you've probably all noticed, there are big changes taking place with Radiant Reality this year. I'm doing things very differently, opening a lot of things up, you know, going into a lot more dialogue about things that I've hinted at in my readings and videos before, but never really quite sort of delivered on. You guys asked for more of different types of content, and this year I fully intend to deliver. So I hope that this has helped you or resonated in some way, shape, or form. I truly hope, and I'm really grateful for the amazing response that the other stuff that I'm doing is receiving. So very excited, very happy with that. Take care. I will see you soon, and then I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. So much more to come. Thank you for being here. Love you lots, and I will see you soon.